Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of A View from the Ridge, the Spaulding Ridge podcast, featuring myself, Emil Fernandez, and partner Sarah Katz. We are very excited today. This is our first podcast of 2021, and it's a very special occasion, and we have a very special guest. So we celebrate the 3-year anniversary of Spaulding Ridge, and to talk about the past 3 years and the experience thus far, we welcome Jay Laabs, our CEO and founder and fearless leader, to talk a little bit about what we've accomplished in those 3 years. So Jay, welcome to A View from the Ridge.
Excited to be here, gang.
So Jay, I'll kick it off. I mean, it's hard to believe, but we're celebrating the 3-year anniversary. It doesn't seem like it's that long, but it's gone by quick. I guess for people who are new and don't know the history of the company, can you kind of give us a little summary where we've come from and just high level what we've accomplished in these 3 years?
Yeah, it's been an incredible 3 years, and I'm very grateful for the team that I've been able to do this with. But 3 years ago, we started the company by acquiring a couple small shops, a small Anaplan shop and a small Salesforce shop. And they were kind of the foundation of getting the company started. But really, like, as this has played out over the 3 years, our Salesforce business got us into Spring CM, which actually was then acquired by DocuSign. That was a pretty pivotal moment for us. Anaplan's IPO was also a very pivotal moment for us. So we were in the space at the right time. And then if you look at some of our other practices that have really just had incredible years, OneStream's done really well. MuleSoft, now being a part of Salesforce is very key to where we're going. More recently, we were the only partner admitted into the Coupa, their partner program last year. So really exciting, and we spent this past year getting a lot of our international outposts up and running, some more advisories. So we've really come a long way in these 3 years of putting together a comprehensive firm, 200 plus people. So
and still going.
Just getting started.
Exactly. So with all the growth, there's the phrase that we keep using, which is best in cloud. And what does that mean, and how is that part of our strategy at Spaulding Ridge?
Well, the way we thought about this from the beginning is really to kind of think about those upper right Gartner quadrant native cloud players, kind of the modern platforms, best of breed platforms, whatever you want to call them. And in looking at partnering with those, and also hopefully seeing adjacencies from one to the other. So you look at kind of the companies that are doing well, that are investing in their systems, that are modernizing their systems, the platforms that they're going to be looking to invest in. We wanted to be a provider of those platforms, but also to kind of have a point of view that wasn't just a single silo. I think too many professional services firms set out to say, I'm just going to be a great Salesforce partner. And, there are certainly many of those. But from a buyer's perspective, if you're the CIO, CFO, CRO, you name it, their issues, they want to think about how this fits into their broader enterprise architecture. And so to be able to have a point of view of all these, modern platforms and how to stitch them all together, we viewed was frankly a winning strategy. And also taking a point of view on like who we think the winners are, helps, I think, companies engage with us too, because once again, I think too many times consulting firms try to pretend they're agnostic when they're really not, for a variety of reasons. But we're kind of out there on thinking, these are the best platforms, and we are heavily influenced by what Gartner says on this too. But that's the strategy, and we're doubling and tripling down on that. So
I guess a follow up to that, Jay, we've been in this business a while, and the way companies acquire technology, what trends are you seeing there? Because obviously for a long time, there were these, big legacy platform vendors that tried to gobble everything up. How do you see it evolving, and how has that influenced, how we go to market?
well, I'm thankful for kind of the movement away from the kind of mega platforms, because I used to think about it, the companies, and I'm talking like the company side of it, they might spend 12 months on some like huge internal project, spending an incredible amount of time, which, look, there's a cost to that too. um, Evaluating all these different platforms, and then, putting together 5-year roadmaps on these things. And, the time to value, to me, the world's moving so quickly, technology's changing so quickly, like that just never made sense to me. Um, so I would say, pace is just really accelerated in all these things, and implementing from an agile mindset, where I think, two, it's okay to take on a little more risk in these projects, versus, once again, going back to, I've never really understood clients that, they wanted to take completely all of the risk out of the project. So you'd spend literally months documenting things, and once again, not getting to that time to value, where, like, we see our most effective clients are just constantly iterating, innovating, pushing the envelope. And look, I get it. If you're kind of doing a global ERP replacement, it's maybe not that easy to be so, iterative. But I just think of, the smart companies out there, the pace they're going at, and I think the accepting kind of a trade-off between, time to value and risk, that the winners are, kind of out there on the forefront. So
Yeah, and I mean, especially last year, kind of proven that theory with the disruption and the change and the no choice, you have to adopt digital. So, I mean, were you surprised of the rapid growth with our company and everything that was going on with COVID? I remember March, April, it was a very different conversation than where we are today.
yeah, certainly in March, April, those are scary times, because it's not just about the business. You're thinking about, at least for me, keeping my mom safe, and, our family safe, and really all of that. But also, in, my first company really accelerated in 2008, during that crisis as well. So we were thinking about, hey, even though times are bleak, this actually could be an opportunity. But if you, kind of put yourself in the position of our clients, they're working differently remotely, in many cases sourcing differently because of, our, political situation, and, China, and kind of everything that goes along with that. Um, our clients are interacting with their customers differently. So you have just a kind of major disruption in many different ways. And just taking DocuSign as an example, what a perfect solution for the time, because first off, I would argue it never made a lot of sense to walk around paper contracts to get signatures. How is that an efficient process? Um, but I think, whether it's laws or just kind of the internal structure set up to continue to support that. But come on, who really wants to have a bunch of file cabinets sitting around their office? So, and we're not even getting into the number of trees you're killing, while doing that. So, DocuSign, that's one of those things where you kind of let the genie out of the bottle, and, that thing's not coming back. That's just going to continue um, to evolve. But one thing that I think I was, maybe a little off on is, and this seems like a little more recently, companies have been willing to do more transformational things, remotely, which I wasn't really sure how that would play out. Um, but I think from their perspective, things are just changing so quickly. You run the risk of being left behind if you don't transform. Um, so we have, we are in the middle of multiple fairly significant transformations right now. And 6 months ago, I wasn't so sure this would happen. So that's been a surprise, certainly.
So Jay, we've talked a lot about transformation, technology trends, cloud, digital transformation. I'm feeling like you're telling me I should probably get rid of my fax machine based on all those trends. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the company and its values. You've talked a lot internally about how this company is an expression of your values and what's important to you. Can you talk a little bit about that and what values are important to Spaulding Ridge?
Absolutely. This company, you can draw a direct line to when I thought I was retired. When I left Huron, I legitimately 100% thought I was done ever having an operating role again. But I was on this volunteer trip with my mom in Nicaragua, and literally for as far as the eye could see, it's just one kind of tin shack after another, and just seeing the poverty. And I was saying to myself, I am not being a good global citizen by sitting in my basement. And I kind of joke about it, but I was binge watching Ray Donovan over the course of a couple months. I'm not being a good global citizen. And so just thinking about this, business can be a force for good. I've always believed that. And I also believed that we could set up a company with all the right values and do it the right way and still be successful. I think also having a little bit of the freedom of, frankly, not really caring if some people didn't like what we were doing, to be able to do it our way and try to make this a place where it could be a great experience. And I think also shows some of our young leaders that business isn't all bad. Like, you can be a part of something that we are trying to make our communities better, but we're also trying to help our clients, their financial performance be better, so everyone's 401ks go up, the tax base goes up, those sorts of things too. So we wanted to have this very values orientated company, and I like to think we've been pretty successful in doing that.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I mean, I think, not only do we incorporate it in our performance reviews, but even in the way that we set our metrics and the conversations we have. So, I mean, this is your second company, is also the second one I've been with you. How, from the first one that was founded in 2005, which was very successful, what are some of the lessons you took away, and how did it help with Spaulding Ridge right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, Sarah, if you think about what you just said compared to the first company, I know I probably wouldn't have had the courage. Well, frankly, I didn't have the courage back then to, make a point that if we don't hire more women, we're not going to hire, period. And being okay with that it's one thing to say really smart, cool things on LinkedIn, but it's a whole harder thing to operate a business when you literally stop hiring due to gender or frankly a bunch of white guys. And we've done that here numerous times, as I know you both know, and I know in that first company that would have never happened. And there have been some good learnings from this. I think the value of a cohesive leadership team, how important that is, because this is really the first time I've ever had that. And I blame myself, by the way, for not putting more of a priority on it. When I was at Huron or at Bluestone, the first company, that was my fault. And so this time out, I really wanted to make sure that we set this up the right way to have that strong alignment. And I think another big learning was, we at Spaulding Ridge, we talk a lot about our opt-in people model, that the first time out, I think it was, if someone didn't want to be there, I often would take it as a personal like jab at me that like I did something wrong. Where this time out realizing, look, this place is not for everybody, and that is completely okay. Uh, we want people to opt in that believe in what we're trying to do, and if this is not their thing, they should go, work at the Big Four or wherever. That is totally okay. Life is short. You have to spend a lot of time working. Work with people you enjoy. Um, Work with a company that you really identify with their values. It's not just some words, thrown on the website or, in the office hallway. It's, you really get a feel for this company is taking a stand on some things, and I want to opt into that. Um, that is a kind of regret from, my time at Huron, and my time at my first company, that, we were not values orientated organizations, at least like we are here at Spaulding Ridge.
So Jay, following up on that, you mentioned the cohesive leadership team that we have here, and as I can attest as a member of that leadership team, there's a lot of discussion about how we manage the business. I know you're an avid reader. You read lots of books on management and management strategy and leadership strategy. I'm failing miserably in keeping up with you on the reading list, but I'm trying hard. What are some of these business philosophies and management strategies that you've applied here, and how do you see the impact of that on how we run the business?
Yeah, well, reading Andy Grove's High Output Management, there's one kind of key pointer that was really an aha moment. Actually, it's very obvious when you state it, but when you think about how companies work, it's not the way it works. And often the emphasis on, technical skills and technical leadership, and almost no emphasis on management skills or management know-how. And especially as you move, up through an organization, that it, becomes so much more about leadership and management skills. And that's the harder stuff to develop. But just, if you lean into it and can develop that, I think it can make, tremendous difference. And so here, we've been doing a lot of that. And I think, at least within the company, we talk more about like all the Pat Lencioni books, and the 5 dysfunctions of a team, to me, is just a classic. And I think we've done a pretty good job here. Like, kind of the big takeaway is, the value of the first team. So when, leaders get together, it's about advancing the corporate strategy. It's not about advocacy for your practice or like whatever your little domain is. Frankly, that, I'd never experienced. It seems like every leadership team I'd ever been on before, it was an advocacy, fight, and not a like, how do we move the strategy forward? But also with Lencioni, The Motive, is a great book. Being a leader is often, not what people think it is. It's tough. It's lonely at the top. You're constantly questioned. And so, and I'm not like, woe is me. I picked, to be the entrepreneurial leader. That's okay. And I would say, I've had the opportunity to get to know many CEOs over time, and the ones that I think get it right are like Lencioni says, they're humble, hungry, and smart. It's not the the CEOs that kind of have their name in the paper. Like, oftentimes I question that a little bit. It's who's working in the trenches, to support their teams. So.
Yeah, I think Jay, the motive really, I mean, you and I even did a review, but was really impactful. I know all the partners and leaders read it, and going from reward centric focus, like it just hit home, to a responsible, like responsibility centric approach is, I know this year has been something that, and always we've been trying to get and strive to, because we are responsible for our people, our clients, and our partners. So I do, something that I think makes us very special is we know that we don't know everything, and reading and getting and learning is also part of our strategy. So appreciate you pushing us continuously to do better, learn more. So, but with that said, this is just the beginning, as you said in the beginning. So what is next for Spaulding Ridge, and where is the company going to go, this year and beyond?
Yeah, we live in a very fast-paced, constantly changing dynamic. But first off, I think, look, let's get the vaccines rolled out. Let's get everyone safe, because I know we want to get out and see each other. We want to see our clients. Yeah, we love our alliance partners. Just kind of getting back to the motions, that we miss. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. But I mean, as part of this acceleration of digital transformation, I still think it's very, very early innings. And I think you could argue this change we're going through, could almost be bigger than, like the internet and the .com age that sort of started this, 20 years ago. I do think this could be larger than that. But for us strategically, what you're going to see a lot of is, as we get closer to our clients, putting a focus back on building out our regional teams. Like actually last year was supposed to be a little more focused on that. So getting closer to our clients, but also when we're together as teams, I think there's more development that goes along with that. And so that's important. And I think, more international expansion. We're excited that we just incorporated in Australia, so we're going to do some more things there. Some more things in Europe. We have been adding depth to our office in Paris. And so, I think this getting closer to our clients globally. And then the other, I think, big change for us is you are going to see us likely launch new practices as well. Wanting to be that alternative to the Big Four that, has a broader set of offerings. And that I would like to say, because of our ability to be pragmatic, nimble, that we're easier to work with, kind of fewer headaches. So I think that, you'll see more of the practice development. And I think, our people love that too. Because it gives them numerous different career paths. We're certainly big firms, the best model, frankly, is to get people, very focused. That's the easiest way to scale. But we view that even though we're taking a little more challenging way to scale, that because our people like it, we get continuity and resources. Therefore, our clients get that continuity as well. So I think, we're going to see more in the practice development areas.
So Jay, I think we could probably talk about Spaulding Ridge all day. I know it's one of your passions, but we're going to probably leave it there. Again, I want to thank Jay for joining us on A View from the Ridge. And I'll just say, on behalf of all 207, I think, employees here at Spaulding Ridge, we appreciate and thank you for your leadership these past 3 years. We're all excited about what the next 3 years holds for us, and look forward to great things. So on behalf of Sarah and myself, thank you again. And this has been A View from the Ridge. Thanks, y'all.